Let this be a warning. The bitch goddess Nitro is going to get you any way she can. She's going to make you pay in ways you can't even begin to anticipate until you're there, right? And here we are. And this is a lesson I have learned time and time and time again over the years. And you know what? Eventually, it worked its way through my thick skull, and I says, yes, okay, this is not for normal people. This is not a normal thing, right? This is just punishment across the board. So I got smart and I walked away. Yes, very smart thing for me to do. Right? And I joined the regular world, and I like the regular world. I like regular people. But then what happens is you let your guard down. Just for a minute. And she comes and she knocks on your door. And she says, hi, I'm not as bad as I used to be. This could be, this could be a good thing, right? Come join me. Yeah, she does that, right? And that's exactly what happened when Jeff Brower showed up at my door with this contraption. And he was like, hey, let's get this thing running. And I was like, yeah, whatever it takes. Let's just get it running. It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Let's do this thing, right? And then here we are. Okay, it's the second week in January now. I was expecting to have this thing together on the ground, running, like ready to actually start doing stuff with this car by now, and we're nowhere near close. So I'll bring you up to speed on what's going on. Like I said, this is a lesson I learned time and time and time again over the years. I was just having this conversation the other day. So by the time I got involved in nitro racing in the middle 1980s, all of the regular people were gone. Okay, all of the regular normal people, racers, were gone. It was like, okay, this is over. The guys who were, I'm a mechanic and I have a top fuel car. Oh, I'm a roofer or a plumber and I have a top fuel car. Those guys were long gone. By the time I came along, all that was left was people, very wealthy people with very little common sense, otherwise they wouldn't be involved in this stuff, and the batshit crazy, right? Just completely delusional, insane people. And that was it. There was very little middle ground. Now, I was neither wealthy nor certifiably insane, so it was a hard place to be during the years that I was in there, but I stuck it out until I couldn't anymore. So these are lessons I already learned. And, here we are. Like I said, it's the second week in January. This was supposed to be together. Let me bring you guys up to speed because we haven't done an installment on this thing in probably close to a month now. All right. So, the mission. When Jeff showed up at my door, he was like, let's get this car running. Whatever it takes, let's just do it. Right? And Jeff has the resources to make it happen. I was a little hesitant at first, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So we started tearing things down and assessing what we have. Now, here's the mission. The mission is Jeff wants this car completely functional as it was last raced in the very early 70s, 1970, 71, 72. And there's an era, it's very important to think about going forward with this. That era, 1970, 71, 72, had a very specific, was a very specific point in the evolution of these cars. And in order to make everything cohesive, the engine package that we have, the fuel system we have, the fuel pump that we have, the configuration of the car, in order to make this thing cohesive, and also the fact that we're going to be running this car on tracks that are not prepped like modern tracks. The tracks that we're going to run this thing on are much more resemble the way national event tracks were in that period of time, the very early 70s. So in order to keep everything cohesive, I says, all right, we're going to need a clutch that's era specific. When we looked the car over, we saw that it was originally built in 1968, but sometime around late 1970, 1971, the car was revamped to better fit the circumstances that the cars were running in at that time, and what our engine package consists of, the blower and the pump and all of that stuff. In reconfiguring the car, they moved the axle, the rear axle back and down. They changed the angle of the motor plate, all things to work with a Crowler Glide clutch, which was the state of the art at that time. 10-inch, 3-disc, 6-finger Crowler Glide clutch. So for the purposes of getting this car running and on the ground and getting Jeff's feet wet with it, and if he wants to go faster, if he wants to pursue this any further, then major changes have to be made. But to try to keep the car cohesive, he says, all right, we need a 3-disc Crowler Glide to go with this. So I started hunting around for parts. And yes, we could have used a pedal clutch, but pedal clutches are generally hard on the engine, and we don't want anything hard on the engine. It's easier to tune a soft leaf, a softer leaf with the Crowler Glide than it is with the pedal clutch. That's why I decided to go that way. So I started looking for used parts. These are ancient parts. This is a clutch setup that hasn't been really used in any great numbers in decades. So stuff is out there, but it's a little hammered. It's a little hard to find, and so you got to get a piece from here and a piece from there. And then Jeff said, hey, just call Crowler and get a brand new one. And I was like, okay, you're paying the bills, bro. You want to do this? Let's do this. So we get on the phone with Crowler. We're on the phone for hours with him, giving him every single dimension, every fact and figure on the car, the whole bit, right? So they determine what we need. And they're like, yes, we can build this thing. So they give Jeff a price. Jeff's like, okay, money's on the way, get it done. All right, when's it gonna be done? Well, you should have everything around the last week of December. Okay, so here we are. We're in the second week of January now, and we have no clutch parts. And from what I can gather from various communications, the guy that handles fabricating oddball, obsolete, one-off Crowler Glide parts he's either among the missing, or he's not talking to them, or something. But yes, we have no clutch parts, and as far as I can tell, they haven't even started on it yet. Okay. All right. It's a hurdle. You expect this. You talk about some really weird, one-off, ancient stuff. Yeah, there's going to be some roadblocks in the way. All right, what about the rest of it? How about the engine? Stick the engine together. At least you could fire it up and get the basics set up on it, right? Yes, great idea. But now if you go back to when we did the engine teardown on this, when we pulled the cylinder heads off, the O-rings, the stainless steel O-rings, literally just fell out of the heads. Like they just fell out. There's nothing holding them in place. Now, I don't know if it was a machining error made during the, way back when, and these heads were just put on the shelf because O-rings didn't fit them quite right. Stuff like that happens. Or what, I don't know. But they wouldn't hold O-rings. So, this is back in November. I call my local machine shop. I does all my machine work, Shacklets up in Nashville. And I said, hey, I need these O-rings, fixed up in these cylinder heads. Whatever you got to do, just do them. So Jeff took the cylinder heads and ran them up there, and he told them, yeah, we'll have them back to you in about 2 weeks, which would have been the end of November. And I was like, great, at least we could put everything else together and fire it up and do all of that. And then when we get the clutch, we'll do that. Here we are, second week of January, and I went up to Shacklets last week just to see what was going on. Hey, how's the cylinder heads coming? And they haven't even touched them. They had one head in one room, the other head in the other room, and they were all just backed up, and they just haven't gotten to them yet. So I have no cylinder heads. I have no heads. I have no clutch. I have nothing that I can do with this car at this point except just wait for parts. So if you've been wondering why there haven't been any updates on Project Top Fuel, here you go. This is like beyond our control, circumstances beyond our control. Hindsight, yes, I probably should have just found old Crowler Glide parts and hammered them back together again, but it is what it is. So that's our status on this thing right now. We're completely in a holding pattern until parts start arriving here and we can screw things together. It was also an issue with the brakes. The brakes are actually in nice shape. The rotors are in nice shape. The calipers, all of that. But we're missing 2 pucks. The brake pads for these things. There's 8 of them altogether. We're missing 2 of them. And wouldn't you know it, they're obsolete. They're not available. They have the smaller size, they have the bigger size, they don't have the size that we need. So Dr. Art is handling this right now. I'm not even sure what the status is on that. It's a choice between changing out the brake rotors, the hats, the calipers, the stands, all of that stuff, or just doing what we can to get the 2 pucks together for it. So I'm not even sure what's going on with that. But as it stands right now, we have really nothing between the motor plate and the differential. We have brake issues, and we have no way to put this engine together and take the next steps, which would be just getting it running. So that's the update. Now, I don't know when this stuff is going to show up. This is just so crazy. I knew stuff like this was going to happen. I just didn't know how it was going to get you. And that's how the bitch works every friggin' time. That's what she does to you. So I want to keep the project going, but I really don't know where to go with it until we can do any more here. So in the meantime, if you guys have any topics concerning these cars or this car that you're curious about, that we can do some in-between videos, just to keep the ball rolling, throw it in the comments. And this is just what you expect. Welcome to Nitro. This is it. It'll get you one way or another, but it's gonna get you. And unless you're just completely loaded, you just got money falling out of every orifice of your friggin' body, or you're completely gone. You're just nuts. There's really no place in this universe for you. I'll see you tomorrow.